Hello everyone, in this lecture we will learn about built-in modules, math and random. So what I'll do, instead of creating a new file here, I'll rename this file. So it's a loop. Go here, right click, and you will see here refactor. So inside refactor you can see rename. Let's call it built-in module and refactor it. So it will update everywhere where this name is present. Okay, let me remove this part. Now here we can import math. So math is a built-in module. Let's call this dir function. So with the help of this dir function we can print this namespace. Now let's run this, right click and run it, and see here in this module these are the functions. There are so many functions which we can use related to mathematics. Let's check it. So here math, because this is a module name, dot, and when you press dot you can access all these properties. So I'll just press here. See, these are the functions. Okay, p, I, you can see this is a variable, value, or you can call it property. So pi, let's run this and you can see this is a pi value. So let's call another function. I want to find factorial. So factorial of a given number. Let's say 5. So 5 factorial is 120. Math dot square root of a given number. I'll pass 100. This part I'll comment. This way we can find square root. Pass the value. Let's print math dot, and see this is a list. So you can try all these functions. See here. Let's take one more example here. Power. Okay. 2 raised to power 5. So x raised to power y, 32. You can see here. So this is very useful when you do some task related to mathematics. Okay, let's check one more function here. Math dot floor. Remember this we have discussed already. Floor, if I give here 10.67 whatever value 60, so it will give the lowest value from this value, but out of that it should be the highest. So I'll print the documentation of this. Let's print here math dot floor. Remember, when we print documentation we don't have to call it. Remove it. This part I'll comment. And see here, return the floor of x as an integral. This is the largest integer less than equals to x. Right? So floor, if I give a negative value, so if it is minus 10.60, it will be minus 11, because this value should be less than this value. Okay, so this is a floor, and we have one more function, math dot ceil. So 10.45, it's just opposite. It will give the another side. Now let's print the documentation of this function. I'll call this help math dot ceil, and see this is the smallest integer, that should be greater than x. So this documentation is very useful. This help function is very useful function. Using this you can try all these functions related to math. Now let's import one more module here, random. Now we don't have to write one more import statement. After comma we can write the name of another module. So I'll remove this part. So let's test it. Random dot, see, these are the functions. So what is random? The best way is to find the help. It will give a random value between 0 to 1. Let's print it and see here. It will return x in the interval 0 and 1. So call it random dot random. Because it is a function, if I call like this without parentheses, you will get this kind of address. So remember, we must use these parentheses. Run it, you can see here, between 0 to 1. Whenever I run this program, it will always return random value, and that will be between 0 to 1. Now what if I want random value between 1 to 100? So what we can do here, it's a simple math, multiply by 100. So whatever value it will return, it will multiply by 100, and the value will be between 0 to 100. See here. But here you can see the decimal value, right? Let's get rid of this. So how to round it? We have a built-in function round, and it will take a number, round. Now I'll run it. See here. Now it will be a whole number between 0 to 1. But then this function, where it is defined. So remember we discussed about built-in function. So let's do one thing. I'll call the help for round and run it. From here we can understand where it is defined. Now see here, it is a built-in function and the round module is built-ins. Okay, it will take a number, and this is the optional parameter, it will return a number. So as we know that it is inside built-in function, let's do one thing. I'll call this dir and let me run this, and this is built-ins. I'll pass it, run it again, and we will get the namespace, all the functions, everything inside this built-ins. Now let's search where random is present. I'll scroll it to right side, and you can see here it will be in alphabetic order. So here it should be. Now you can see here round. So round is present in this built-in functions, built-in module, which is already there. So that's the reason we don't have to import any module here. So you can see here directly we can call this function. There are so many functions which can be used here. Print, complex, see here, all these functions. Anyway, so this way we can import these modules, built-in modules, and access these functions. Let's explore more about random. Here we have choice and choices. So let's test it. Choice. I'll print the choice function here, and this will return a random value from a list. So I'll create a list here. These are some courses, C++. Okay, now I'll pass this list, run it, and see here. When I run this again, it will give some other random value. out of this list. So choice, it will get any random value inside this list and return this. Every time it will be different. Now here we can pass the list. So what I can do, instead of this list, I can write here only some numbers, some choice. But remember, this is this parameter should be a list. So here you will get error. The reason is choice function will take one parameter, but here we are passing multiple parameters. So you can see here takes 2 positional arguments, but 8 were given. So we need to specify this is a list. So how to do that? Just put these brackets. Now we pass this list. So small things are there to understand. Now you can see here. Out of this list it will return 6. Again run 7 or any random value. Okay. Now what if I have to create a list of let's say 1 to 100. Now here we can use range function. So how to create? Let's call it numbers, and then I'll create a list. Inside that list I can call this range function. So you remember, range will create a sequence of numbers. I'll give 100. So it will start from 0 till 99. So 100 is not included. Now this number, let's do one thing. Print the number first, then I'll come to this part. So it will create a list of numbers from 0 to 99. See here. So 0 to 99. Now we have numbers. And here instead of this list, I'll pass this numbers. Let's test it and see. Now it will return a random value between 0 to 99 from that list. There is one more important function here. Let's call it random dot choices. Choices will return more than one random value. So how it works? Let's create one more variable here, and I'll pass this number, and I'll specify how many numbers I want. I want 5 random values. Then let's print this list. Remember, it will return a list. Now run this and you can see 5 random values. So what I'm doing here, first I'm creating a list from 0 to 99. So I specify a range function. With the help of range we can generate. This is a list, and then random dot choices. This function return random value from this list, but how many numbers? Here we can specify, and then we can store that list in this variable and print it. Now this is optional parameter. If you don't specify, it will return only one number. So we can specify here how many numbers we want. Maybe 5, maybe 10. See here. So these built-in modules, math, random, there are so many modules. You can see here, statistics. So once you start typing, it will come here. So there are so many modules which can be used. We'll explore more modules in coming lectures.